Yeah, I'm in Long Beach. What's up, Long Beach? Orange Justice! Orange Justice! Thank you, Isaac!
Hey guys! Is it like a law or something that YouTubers have to say, hey guys? Anyways, so thanks for watching my video, and please consider subscribing. Dude, what are you doing?
I'm shooting my YouTube video.
I know, but there's a whole planet. Why do you have to stand there?
Because everyone knows this empty parking lot gets the best reception.
Good call.
Guys, this is the problem with life.
Thanks for watching my video, and I hope to see you soon. Keep subscribing.
Hey everybody, this is Johnny Cardinale.
Hello, and this is Darren Carter.
Yes, we're in our 40s. We've known each other since we were in our 20s. And he's on my Pocket Party podcast. You got to check him out, man. This guy is a comedian, a singer, songwriter. He writes original music. And we were talking about the early days. What were some of your early memories of the Comedy Store back in the 90s?
Just hanging out. I mean, we used to hang out there 5 nights, 6 nights a week, you know. Just seeing some of the greats go in and work. You know, Dice. You know,
Dude,
I will say, go ahead.
I was going to say, I remember with Dice Clay, you know, now I see him a lot more, and I'm still a little bit intimidated by him. I mean, the guy's still a huge star. Man, yeah. But I remember back then, I used to go over there, as they call it, ear hustling. Like, I used to, like, hear him talk about stuff, because he'd be on, like, the Howard Stern show that morning. And then I'd go over there, and I'd pretend to, like, tie my shoe, just so I could hear him be like, yeah, so I told the guy, and I'd be like, I just heard Andrew Dice Clay talk, you know?
Well, here's a good story. But, you know, he had a show on Family. He tried. I think it was on Fox. They were trying to make him like a family man, and we were given a memo. If we brought him up on stage, we were not allowed to use Dice. It had to be Andrew Clay because he was trying to just change his image for this TV show.
Yeah.
The TV show didn't work very well for whatever reason. And then it's back to Dice. You know what I mean?
So,
and I went up to him. Hold on a second. I went up to him because he was sitting outside, you know, in the Comedy Store, the patio area. And I just go up to him because the show had just gotten canceled. And I go, hey, and I didn't really know him or anything like that there. But I was young and stuff like that. And I go, hey, Andrew, hey, sorry to hear about the show. He turns to me like this. He goes, why? There'll be more shows. and he was absolutely right. Absolutely right. I just remember going, all right, that's a guy who knows exactly what he's doing, man.
I remember one of the lines from that TV show was like, he's got his head so far up his ass, he's gonna need night goggles to see. Oh!
Well, the show that got canceled, he wasn't doing any of that. It was like he was just being a regular dad. They tried to make him do a regular dad. He's a really good actor, actually. But yeah, he was right. More, you know, he went back to being Dice. You know, that guy.
Yeah.
They tried to take that Dice out of it for a while.
Dude, it's hilarious. I mean, I saw him performing up in the Bay Area, and he did like the early shows, and I did the late show. And it was just interesting seeing like this audience like eating steaks, and they're like eating steaks, and they're like looking at, you know, in the back they were eating steaks, and then you know, and they were like eating steaks and just watching him, and he's like, and it was all over her face like a lemon meringue pie. Oh, and they're like,
it's yeah, exactly. You know, but here's actually the coolest Comedy Store ever. Well, as a young comic, because you were there at the same time. You know, at the Comedy Store back then, the original room. You know, once you got the light, the little star to your light there, after you did your 10 minutes or maybe you had a 15-minute spot, you get the light like 2 minutes, wrap it up. And then you check with the keyboard player. There's a lineup in the back, but you check, so you know who's coming up next, but you'd always check with the keyboard player from the stage, just to make sure in case a celebrity walked in, like Jim Carrey walks in or Dice walks in, they want to go up next, they're going next. Yeah. And you have just let them know that, okay, then you bring up, there's no MC, you bring up the next comedian. So I'm there, Jeff Scott was the piano player, still the piano player there. This is in the 90s. Or maybe late 90s, I guess, maybe early 2000s, I don't know. And I'm going with my set, it's like Tuesday, hardly anybody in the room. 100 people maybe. And I go, who's coming up next? And he goes, Richard Pryor.
Whoa.
And I go, come on, dude, come on, dude, I'm gonna bring up the next comic. He goes, dude. He didn't want to say it too loud because he didn't want to give it away. You know, he wanted me to announce it. So I go, dude, who's going to? He looks at me like this, and he goes like this, dude. So I go up, I grab the mic, and I go, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Comedy Store. And at certain times, celebrities will stop in. This guy, basically, this place wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for this guy. There's no other way to introduce him. Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Pryor. Whole crowd was like, what? And he was, you know, he had MS. Two guys had to carry him up on stage.
I remember.
And the crowd gives him a standing ovation. And I'm standing on stage. I have to hand him the mic. I hand him the mic and I just kind of skedaddle off and I go stand in the back and watch, and he's up there still, hey, but he's pretty ill and stuff, but he's still Richard. And I asked people in the back, other comics, I go, hey, was Richard in the room watching when I was up on stage? And they're like, no. So anyhow, Scott Day was the booker at the time.
Booker, yeah.
I get a call from him the next day, maybe 2 days later. He goes, hey, Johnny. And Mitzi was giving me a lot of spots back then, too. And she goes, Richard's going to start coming in every Wednesday, and he wants you to go up before him.
Whoa.
So for like 3, 4, 5 months, every Wednesday, I would go up, do my stuff, 10-minute set, and then I would just get off the stage. Yeah. And then go back and watch him, you know what I mean? Never interacted with him, never tried to. He had a photographer that would follow him around, and his ex-wife would follow him around, and like 2 or 3 other. And one time I was standing way over the corner after my set. He's up, and he gets down. He would go sit in the chair right by in the back where Mitzi would sit there and stay for a while. Yeah. And I'm standing there way in the corner. This guy comes up and he goes, Richard would like to take a picture with you.
Whoa.
So I'm like, so I go over and I sit down right next to him. Yeah. And he's got a lighter in one hand and a box of cigarettes in the other. And I'm trying to shake his hand. I didn't realize he could only kind of shake. So I just kind of hit his fist. And we got 2 pictures. And one, he looks kind of like this. And the other one, he looks perfectly like Richard Pryor. That's cool. And I'm like this young comic. And I posted on Facebook a couple, 2 years ago. So I have a picture with Richard Pryor, and I get to bring him up on stage several times. And I personally think he's the greatest comedian of all time.
Richard Pryor's great.
I always said he's the best.
I used to go up. I probably went up before you because I remember I would open up for Pryor, and also there's like about 6 chairs in the back of the original room at the Comedy Store, and that's what you're talking about. Where
Mitzi's chair right there, and then
but if you're a paid regular, you're allowed to sit there. Mm-hmm. And I remember sitting there, but away from them, like I was in probably the furthest one, and Richard Pryor's wife leans over and she goes, "Excuse me." And I popped up and I go, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean." And she goes, "No, sit down. I just wanted to say, I think you're really funny. You're so, And she complimented me, and I was like, "Wow, Richard Pryor's."
That's what I'm saying, man. We were there for a touch of greatness, the greatest.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Do you remember getting your name on the wall at the Comedy Store?
Yeah. That was a big. It's funny because I got picked up, and here's another cool story. Years ago, I went to watch comedy there, just paid to watch. I've never even been. I never just before I did stand-up comedy. And this guy went up there. I didn't know who these people were. They introduced this guy. He goes, been on the Tonight Show 25 times. Like, oh my God, he's a TV guy. And it was Argus Hamilton. He goes up there, and it's real funny. Argus, and he goes, ladies and gentlemen, your next comers come. And I remember I went to the bathroom, and I saw this guy sitting in the back of long hair, just sitting there like this. I'm like, that guy looks all Hollywoody, And then Argus goes up, and he goes, hey, this next guy, Mitzi Shore only picks up 1 comic every year, maybe 2 a year. This guy's one of the recent ones you picked up. You're gonna say you saw him here. He's blowing up. Give it up for Pauly Shore. No idea who he was at the time.
Really?
No idea who he was. He went up there, and he crushed. And then and I remember thinking, I hadn't done stand up at the time. And looking at that stage, I was like maybe watching from 3 rows. I'm like, that stage is like, 9 feet away from me, but it's a million miles away from me. How these people are walking up on the stage doing stand-up comedy. Maybe a year later, I was up on that stage, and Argus Hamilton brought me up. Hey, Mitzi Shore only picks up 1 or 2 comics every year. Wow. You're gonna say you saw him here, Johnny, and he brought me up the same kind of cool way. Like Argus is like the greatest at giving introductions, and he's still there, He's
so good, man.
Yeah, exactly. He's the pro's pro. But it was really cool. Like, oh my gosh, now I'm on this stage.
And then you went on tour with Pauly Shore.
Yeah, I remember I got a call. Like my home phone's like, "Yo, Johnny, it's Pauly. Give me a call." It was a voicemail. Give me a call. I want to talk to you about something. And I'm like, wonder why Pauly would call me, because I'd never spoken to him at the Comedy Store. He never even said, "Hey, nice set" in passing or anything. And I remember I formed the Comedy Store players, the softball team. I brought back the softball days of the Comedy Store. I put up a sign-up sheet. I sent it. So for a while, they were playing softball. Like Don Barris was on the team, and Eleanor Kerrigan, she was on the team.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe he was calling to offer me like some Weasel shirts, like sponsor for the team or something. Yeah. So I call him back and he goes, "I'm gonna do a tour once. See if you want to tour with me." I was like, "What?" You know what I mean? And so we did Vegas. We did the Coach House. And I remember before my set, I didn't even know he knew who I was or was watching my sets. He told me, he goes, "Bro, I know my audience. Do this joke, do this bit, do this bit, do this bit. You're gonna crush, bro." He knew every one of my bits, and he was right. He knew. I did exactly what he said, and it was awesome. It was great.
Thanks for coming on the Pocket Party podcast. Thanks for doing this video with me. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. See ya.
Awesome.
We're done with this interview.